The sale of second-hand clothes is forecast to rise this year to £217 billion globally. In the UK, it's estimated the second-hand fashion market has grown to more than £7 billion, accounting for nearly 1 in 4 fashion transactions. So here to talk to me about the rise of resale platforms like Vinted and Depop is consumer expert Kate Hardcastle, founder of Insight with Passion. Why and how are women embracing pre-loved clothing? Welcome, Kate.
Oh, thank you. Hi.
This is perfect to be discussing this because not only is it in the papers and a big sort of story about business, it's something that I was planning on doing myself this weekend. So it's great. And lots of people probably thinking of sorting through things over the Easter weekend. So what's your reaction to the figures?
I'm thrilled because, like you, there's great people there that are reminded this is an opportunity. So many things have had to happen in a very natural effect for this tipping point to happen. One, we've seen technology take its part, which is it's a lot easier to sell online. It's a lot easier to search online. But also consumers find it very easy to be able to go and use these apps, use these selling platforms to monetize their wardrobe. And I think a lot of it was the financial pressure that people felt, particularly with the cost of living. Just when we feel that economic bite doesn't necessarily mean we stop shopping altogether.
Yeah.
But what it does actually mean is that we need to find different ways of doing it. So monetizing your wardrobe is just a sensible thing. But also the stigma's gone. And because we've seen this tipping point of more people move, and generationally, can I just say as well, it increases. So Gen Zs are really making a massive difference in how much product we see in this re-commerce pre-loved platform, as you and I used to call it secondhand.
Yep.
This is the growth. So many different things have happened. It's monetizing it. It's given the opportunity. It's technologically easy. And that's why we've seen this change.
Right, I've got to bring in, you mentioned technologically easy. And what about the impact of AI? How is that going to change everything?
A huge amount. I could get really excited about things we can't fully visualize right now. But if you can imagine machines where you have immediate sorting of an item. So perhaps it's a charity organization with donations. Perhaps it's actually an organization that's set up, built on re-commerce. These machine conveyor belts can analyze a product within milliseconds, work out its value, any faults, selling challenges. Is that best going to a recycling? Is that best going to a repair? Or is that best going to resale? That type of technology, speed and efficiency, is all about making it what I call lean. So lean transactions means that things can get through quicker and become more affordable. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. And I think we've just seen so much work with the likes of eBay where they're trying to support and help organizations to be startups, to be smaller businesses in this world and make it affordable for them to do so.
How significant is it that Vogue and eBay are collaborating?
Hugely, because we all know that when we hear titles like Vogue, there's a high fashion element to it that's been built over decades. There's a respect and element to it. And if we get in almost the tick box from the purveyors of fashion and the elite of fashion to say this is okay now, I think that helps that social challenge. It's a permission to buy, I guess, that many have been waiting for, not only feeling financially sensible, but environmentally aware. What I'm very aware of is as consumers, we don't always feel really connected with the change we can make. It feels that very small change that we can all take on independently. But if you just have a quick look at the numbers, we're keeping about 200 million extra products in the cycle. And that means so much less to the hundreds of thousands of tons that go to landfill each year. That's a big difference. So please don't think your small purchase or your resale is not going to make the impact in terms of sustainability.
So some brands have even begun selling their own second-hand item or repairing used items. So what are your thoughts on the likes of Zara, Dr. Martin, Mulberry, who are doing this? What's driving that move?
It's been my work to test these brands to see if it's really there or if it's just a nice thing to say to give you credentials when it comes to environmentability. And I think there are a lot of brands that have tested the water. It's not been the lion's share of their focus or business. That's changing, I'm pleased to say. I've got to be the judge of many sustainable fashion awards over the years and seen distinct difference. Again, it's driven by consumer use. There's just a tipping point here that if consumers find it easy and will do it, more organisations will lean into it because financially it becomes viable. And I think particularly brands like Inditex, who own Zara, have put more focus and awareness there, so it becomes a bigger part of their business. Did they get forced into it because there just wasn't a business without looking into sustainability options and actually without taking control of your own brand through resale? Absolutely. And do the lion's share of products from their brands still sit on third-party platforms for resale? Of course they do. But for me, a win's a win when it comes to something just not going straight into a bin.
What's the impact of all of this on the high street and new fashion lines?
It's a really great question. Fast fashion still exists in abundance. It's still really strong and people will have great sustainability credentials. And really, we shouldn't judge anyone for this, but then quite quickly go to a fast fashion option. It is a blended approach. I call it quite pick and mix in terms of our ethics sometimes. And it depends what is coming higher up your buying needs in terms of speed or efficiency, or perhaps something that's quickly part of a replacement on a school uniform versus something you've got time to shop for. Because, of course, on the e-commerce platform, it can take a while for items to reach you still. But I think there's definitely more expectation on brands to do the right thing. There's certainly, thanks to social media, more education, more awareness. One of the really difficult things I used to do is work with great organisations who were putting programmes together, trying to advise them on how we could make it an interesting story, a sexier story to talk sustainability. And my contributions might end up on the kind of digital cutting room floor, I guess, because it just wasn't seen as interesting for a programme like yours. And now I get to talk to the great Anita Rani on Radio 4 about it, so we're making a difference.
I'm an OG second-hand shopper. You know that. And you're right. I think it's significant that we used to call it second-hand and now it's either vintage or pre-loved. It feels like the changing of the words makes it a bit more accessible.
Stigma has taken it out of the secrecy into mainstream, and now we've got generations to come. I'm the mother of not only Generation Alphas but Generation Zs, and there is no currency or conversation where they don't discuss second-hand options. So I feel delighted they don't have the stigma of having to hide a shopping bag in a shopping bag and suggest this thing didn't happen to afford it. My workwear always had to come from a charity shop. I couldn't afford anything else. That was the reality for me. So it's just sensible. It makes good sense. And if there's one thing you want to do on this cold, damp weekend for Easter and you want to kind of sort out your wardrobe, do it and try and find a rehome for these things.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to read out some of the messages because we've got some coming in. Ninka said, in Chester, we have just started a clothing loop where one person passes an IKEA bag full of good quality secondhand clothing to someone else and people can take items out and place their own items in. The bag follows a route created by the host and it's a great way to try out something new and meet people in your community. We like that.
Wonderful.
Other than underwear, says someone here, I buy all my clothes in charity shops. If I don't want them later, I donate them back. No guilt. Charities benefits. Sustainability. Win, win, win. Another one here saying, and this from Aisha, my best vintage find was from an Oxfam in Darlington. I got 2 vintage 70s dagger collar shirts with bishop sleeves, one brown, one cream. This is the best bit. £3 each. Gorgeous pieces, but the polyester is so itchy. I have tried this. I tried selling something years ago. I had a beautiful Vivienne Westwood dress, one of the first big sort of dresses that I'd bought myself. And I thought, I'm not going to wear it again. Silly me, I should have kept it. But anyway, because I didn't know what I was doing, somebody got a Vivienne Westwood dress for the bargain price of £10. So whoever you are, I'm happy for you. Even if
I got a little tear in my eye.
I know it. I can't believe I shared that story. I had to put it out into the open just to make myself feel better. What's going to happen in the next couple of years? What are you looking forward to? Where are we heading with this?
It's getting really exciting. Some of those AI technologies we mentioned, some of them still to come, are going to really make this a very quick, easy system. That means the democratization of even more of it, which means you're going to feel much more in control. But remember, at the same time, the new fashions that are coming through, the digital passports that are coming through, means that you're going to be able to scan a QR code and get the provenance and full supply chain. And as someone who was involved in international factories 30 years ago, believe me, knowing exactly where your product comes from, what the materials are, what that means, impact-wise is huge. So I totally feel this very geek girl's going to have a moment, and it means hopefully I might get a chance to chat to you and your listeners a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And tell them they're doing the right thing. You know, my message is no small step is too small a step. Please don't let this kind of green field put you off. We can't all make a significant difference, but together we can make a really big one.
Wow. You've put it out there, Kate. Thank you. You'll have to come in and talk to me next time.
Would love it. Would love it.
Kate Hardcastle there. Keep your stories of your best vintage finds coming in. And if you